Yo, what's going on, man? Today is the 24th of August, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn WNBA show for today. We got two games on the board that we'll jump into briefly, but as we always do, we'll do a quick recap. I'll plug the best sports betting software in the world in just a second as well, and talk about Moneyballer as well. And we'll go through a couple of the comments as we always do. Exciting night of basketball last night in the W, man. Like I said, we'll get into a quick recap as always. But for people that are new, I'm your host, Chris. This is a pretty laid-back daily sports betting show where we cover WNBA, NBA, and NFL betting. The goal is just to provide some helpful information, man. We're all trying to cash and give out some winners to be profitable at the end of the night. And we were profitable at the end of last night, slightly, but I'll take profit right now the way the WNBA has been treating me. As I mentioned at the top of the show is sponsored by OddsJam, the best sports betting software in the world, on the planet, in my opinion. You can get 20% off your first month if you use the link that's in the description, or use code CBC if you guys are interested in checking out OddsJam, especially right around NFL season, college football for people who cap it. I mean, you definitely want to get the best of the number. I love this sportsbook screen page. It shows me where the best odds are, real time best odds as well. And also, I keep talking about Moneyballer. There's a coupon code in the description. You can get 10% off your first billing cycle if you guys are interested in checking out moneyballer.com. Moneyballer is a very useful way, I think, in saving a bunch of time. And maybe I'll even look into bringing it on the show so you guys can see it versus me just talking about it. But it's a lot of comprehensive data over there, advanced stats, betting insight, all in a very, very easy to use platform that pinpoints profitable betting angles and opportunities, just at a glare. So I love that it's, you can use it on the phone as well. You don't just have to use your desktop. So definitely check those out, man. I wouldn't be talking about them if I didn't think that they were really, really solid. Let's get into a couple of the comments real quick. And then let's go do a recap real quick, and then we'll get into a couple of the comments. Yesterday, I talked about 4 plays that made the short list because I ended up erasing the Sparks plus the 5.5 on the show live. But I ended up playing 2 of those, and one of them was a heavier play than the other, which is what gave us a little bit of profit last night. Phoenix and Atlanta first half under was pretty frustrating just because Atlanta's defenses look so good, since they've been playing competent basketball with Jordan Canada and Ryan Howard back in the lineup. They've been kind of hanging their hats on the defensive end, but they couldn't stop Phoenix last night. Diana Taurasi and specifically Brittany Griner. I mean, they were just abusing Tina Charles last night. So that one flies over the total in the first half, but then I think the full game still went under, which is always more frustrating. And then Connecticut plus this is not supposed to say Connecticut plus 11.5. I don't know why I did that. This is supposed to say Chicago plus 11.5 was a pretty easy winner. They had a chance to win the game outright. They didn't. They had a chance to win the game outright yesterday and just kind of fell short at the last second. It's really hard to watch two teams that really struggle to score the basketball, play basketball. But the other plays, like I mentioned, that we talked about on the show, and I should have probably just went with, was that Vegas and Minnesota first half to go under, just thinking that Vegas would play a little bit better defense, and that first game was kind of an anomaly, and it was. The rematch was an under game throughout the totality of it. And Minnesota plus the 2 was the right side last night as well, man. Aces continue to slip. Just not sure how things are going to go for the Aces moving forward. I just was scared to back them in that spot. Let's get into a couple of the comments, and then we'll jump into the 2 games for today. Extreme Picks says Sky plus 11 made me some money. I'm glad you cashed on it, Extreme Picks. LFS says, I thought the 11 points was crazy. I should have took it. Yeah, 11 was way too. I can't lay points with the Chicago, with the Connecticut Sun, man. Remember I said yesterday, and I sent the write out up to the members as well. The Connecticut Sun struggle to score the basketball consistently. It's hard to win by margin when you're shooting less than 40% from the field every single game that you play. And they also hadn't covered a double-digit line since June. So yeah, that was a pretty easy one. Juan says he went 3-0 from under 83 +2 and +11. Thank you, subscriber from the Philippines. Glad you cashed them, Juan. I'm glad you cashed them, bro. You took the right ones. Midnight Toker, what's up to you, bro? Hope all is well. Marquis says he went 3-0 last night. What up to my guy Justin? Professor Walk Down says you late, Christopher. That's the type of stuff that'll get you kicked out, Professor. You be watching another channel, but I'll let you. It's a beautiful morning, man. I'm not gonna do that to you. Christian got some looks. We'll talk about those. Justin says he got the fever +6. His fever was actually +7 last night. And before I could blink my eye, it moved to 6.5. So we'll talk about it. Helper Hand says, "What's up, my boy? That 11 was money. Glad you cashed it. What up, She? I got Mark always in here. Good morning, Mark. Hope all is well with you. What's up, prestigious prodigy?" Justin says he's looking at Diamondbacks over in the MLB today, over 9.5. Must be some terrible pitchers on the mound. 10 runs is a lot. He says he's hammering it too. Prestigious prodigy going with the fever on the money line. We'll talk about that. PZ says top of the morning game. Sky plus the 11. A lot of people cashed with the Sky yesterday. DJ Prop says at least we know the script. We know the Spark script and unmotivated games from now on. Play the first half, tank the fourth quarter. That's a fact, DJ Prop. Remember, we talked about it yesterday too. I said that they were the worst fourth quarter scoring team in the WNBA. You see Kurt Miller pull all the starters last night. Washington they didn't even cover the first half. And it just shows you that they want to solidify themselves with that number one pick. So they're going to take the games away. And I said that Washington should win the game. I just didn't know if they were going to cover. I said that they should win the game because it was a 5-6 game losing streak, and it was their last game at home. They got a game in Seattle on Monday. So you kind of want to, show your fans that you can win a game every now and then. And it made a lot of sense. Kurt Miller just pulled his starters. I duly noted. I got it noted as well, bro. We'll fade them in the second half for sure. What up, Joe? Appreciate you for tapping in, dropping down. Says anybody see the Sky coaching staff struggle with Kennedy to get her to act right? That girl needs therapy. Oh man, Justin said he knew that was coming. What up, Smokey Steve? That's a beautiful day today, man. It might come back with the sun today. Ooh, okay, we'll talk about it. We're about to get into it right now, matter of fact. B-Felly says, Lynx money line tucked me in real nice last night. I'm glad you cashed on it, man. I should have pulled the trigger. Fee is absolutely amazing, man. We got to talk about Fee, man. She out rebound. I don't know if people got a chance to watch it or not before we jump into this. Fee, she out rebounded the Aces by herself last night. I think she had 18 rebounds and the Aces had 17. I think there's only the third time, fourth time, one of those two numbers in WNBA history that's happened. That one player when the opposing team is out rebounded the whole other team, which is absolutely insane to me. So, it was crazy. It was crazy. Let's jump into the games for today, man. We only got 2 on the board for today. And we got 2 games on the board for tomorrow too that I low-key want to talk about today, but I haven't done all my necessary due diligence, so we'll stay away from those. So first game up, let's see what the make sure the lines haven't changed any. We got the Sun and the Liberty. We have 7. It looks like 7.5, and total sitting 156.5. Looks like it's moving up to 157 on some books as well. And we'll first jump into this, man. So in these second leg of back-to-back games, which we got 2 teams playing in back-to-back games today, they are over games, right? And before we do that, let's just really quickly, I always get ahead of myself. Let's go injury report. Tiffany Mitchell, did she play? I'm not sure if she played last night or not. She didn't play in that win last night against the Sky. She has been out with an illness. Not sure if she's going to play today either. Benaja Laney Hamilton did get upgraded to questionable. She hasn't played in quite a while, man. She's missed the last 8 games going all the way back to before the Olympic break. But she is listed as questionable to return today. I think that'll just help them defensively, offensively. And if she plays, she'll probably be on a minutes limit. Sabrina Ionescu is listed as game time decision as well. She did say after the game, though, for people who follow the beat reporters, that she was going to play. She said, next game I'll be back. So I'm expecting Sabrina to be out there today. And yeah, let's jump into it. So Connecticut, you got this team playing on the second leg of a back-to-back with travel, of course. They're 0-1 straight up and against the number in this spot, with a loss coming against the Atlanta Dream earlier in at the end of June. And that game went up and over the total as well. You look at the Liberty, you guys can see it here. 1 day's rest after beating the Dallas Wings 2 times, third straight home game, and this will be their 5th game since the Olympic break. So the situational spot, this will be the 4th matchup of the season. New York owns Connecticut. Connecticut can never beat them. They have won 8 of the last 10 games head to head, and they've covered this season. They've won all 3. They've covered all 3 spreads as well. However, those spreads were 2.5 in Connecticut, 2.5 in Connecticut, and they were +2 at home in the game that Stewie didn't play right before the Olympic break. But they covered all of them. They won all of them. And 2 of them went over, 1 of them went under. Let's see. As far as, and this is why I kind of wanted to go with this one. As far as the total goes, this season, one thing I was looking to this last night. This season, when teams are playing unrested and there was travel that was involved, whether they travel from home to road or road to home, 8-1 to the over, with those games going over by an average of about 5 points. If we go all the way back to the 2018 season, those totals are 27-7 to the over, which means they're hitting about a little over 77% of the time. So the Connecticut team total is like 74.5. We know that they can struggle to score the basketball. If you go back and look at the games that they played against the Liberty so far this season, they got to 74 in the last game without Stewie. They got to 68 in the game at home against the Liberty. And then they got to 75 against the Liberty in the first matchup of the season when they played on June 8th. So that scares me a little bit here. I kind of feel like, Connecticut's offense is really like watching paint dry. Like I absolutely hate it. They struggle so bad to score the basketball consistently. Now I don't want to get off on the rant, man, but I saw the comments come out from DJ Carrington about, not the WNBA not doing a good job of promoting, enough fans to come to that game against them versus the Sparks, because they were playing at TD Garden where the Boston Celtics play. And who really wants to come to a game and watch you shoot less than 37% from the floor, 24% from the 3-point line? Dejanay herself went 2 for 12 last night, 0 for 3 from the 3-point line. DeWanna Bonner went 3 for 16, 0 for 8 from 3. Who wants to see that? And even against the Sparks, they still were held under 70 points and still shot less than 40% from the field. And the Sparks not even trying to win. So that's my quick tangent there. Like it's really hard for me to want to bet anything in the Connecticut game. I really wanted to go team total under for them, but it's a very, very low number. And remember, I mentioned this yesterday. I mentioned it a couple days ago as well. With the Liberty, they're pushing for. I don't think that they're gonna lose the game. I absolutely don't. Best record in the WNBA at 25-5. I just think that there are gonna be times where they could potentially rest somebody. So if I'm playing Liberty games, especially if I want to back the Liberty, I'm waiting until the last minute because Sandy Brondello could, rule out, a key player because they don't really got anything to play for anymore. They've already locked up the first. Not locked up the first seed, but they've already locked up. From the standings perspective, they're 3.5 games ahead of Connecticut, who is second right now, with Minnesota right on their tail. I think they're like a half game behind them. But yeah, New York wins this game. They push their lead out even more with just less than a month left for the WNBA season to conclude. So I think New York takes this game serious. I would be looking at them minus the 7 if I had to play the spread, even though it's a pretty big number and it is a little overinflated. But that's the only way I'm looking at. I'm not looking to back Connecticut. I know they on the road as well. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick, because I did look into this, on the road this season as a dog, they have not been they've not done well. Real quick, I think they're 1-2 against the number as a road dog this season. Yeah, 1-2 straight up. 1-2 against the number. The only team they beat was the Lynx, 78-73, but they lost to the Aces in Vegas. They lost to the Storm in Seattle, and both of those were double-digit losses. They lost by 11 both games to the Aces and the Storm. I'm not a believer in the Connecticut Storm, the Connecticut Sun, especially on the second leg of a back-to-back. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one, because I feel like I talk too much. What up, AOD? Appreciate you for tapping in as always, my brother. Top of the morning to you. Steeders Price says she's a beast. She absolutely is. 20 rebounds by Reese. Jesus, she was playing catch with the backboard. Missing her layups. Yeah, Angel Reese had 20 rebounds. I think 7 of them was offensive, and she still only made 3 shots, man. Angel Reese, I love the effort. Boy, you gotta work on she need to get in the gym with Akeem Olajuwon, man. She need a post game. Dropping Dime says, what are your thoughts on Liberty's second half minus 2.5? Feels like the Sun would run out of gas after last night. Yeah, I looked into that as well. I think it was I think I looked at teams that previously won their game by less than 3 because they had a 2-point win, and then they're unrested in the next game. Overs. They're over games. They're outscored. Let's see. Yeah. So in general, those games are 86, 61, and 2 to the over. That's about 59% games going over. And then if you isolate it to them being a road dog after they've won by less than 3 and they're unrested, they are 49, 35, and 1 to the over, about 58.3%. And they are getting outscored in the second half. To Dropping Dime's points, they're getting outscored in the second half by about 4 points per game. And this goes all the way back to, it looks like the 2015 season. Let's see if we just add season real quick. So if we just go since the 2022 season, let's just go back a couple seasons. They're getting outscored by an average of 8 points per game in the second half, Dropping Dime. So I know them second halves are only available. Like you can't find a Liberty second half spread on most books, but I think Caesars does have it. Me and Dropping Dimes were talking about this the other day in the comments, chopping it up in the messages on in the DM on Twitter. That's a solid line. I don't know if I got access to that, Dropping Dimes, but yeah, Liberty should. I think they absolutely run out of gas here after only winning by two points yesterday. Prestige Spice is bad spot for the Sun, and they already suck against the Liberty Smoker. Yeah, just the 7. I think it's the 7. I think the team, like I said, I want to wait and see what happens. Make sure they're not doing anything crazy with the injury report. But I'm only looking towards the Liberty, man. Their team total for the game also was something that intrigued me, and I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. But you can get them at 82.5. I thought that was a super conservative number. I think they'll play a little bit faster, knowing like the game plan for Sandy Brondello should be to run, knowing that the Connecticut Sun played last night in a very tough, fought, hardly contested, last possession type game against the Chicago Sky. So I like the team total over a little bit more to stay away from the spread. I think New York has scored 85, 87, maybe even 90 points. The Connecticut Sun don't scare me when they play against the New York Liberty. Dropping Down says, I feel like Sabrina and Laney will be playing. I agree with that. She says, like that, -2.5 too. Dirty Rig says, I feel like if we bet nothing but unders, we go 70 for 100. I'm too dumb to start doing that. Certain teams, you just play under, you just stay off the game, man. And the Connecticut Sun, man, that offense, like I said, it's like watching paint dry, even with, Marina Mabry, because the likelihood of everybody gelling offensively at the same time is so slim to none. Like if you go back and look at the box scores, Marina Mabry had a huge game last night. She had 5 threes, I think, went up and over her points prop. And DeWanna Bonner can't find, she couldn't hit the water if she fell out of a boat in the ocean. Same thing for DeJounte. But last game, DeJounte had a good game. Marina Mabry didn't do anything. So I mean, it's just so much like there's so much inconsistencies on that team. And then you got Alyssa Thomas out there. She's great, but she doesn't stretch the floor, which makes it easier for you to kind of cheat off and take away some of the 3-point shooting ability of the Connecticut Sun as well. So yeah, it's hard for me to watch them, man. She says, I've been stopped back in the Sun. they burn you so fast. I can't do nothing with them either. Peasy says I'm leaning under 157. B Philly says that he's in the under 157 and keeping it moving. Ray says seems like every WNBA at least one team take a quarter off. Sometimes both do. I can't disagree with this. I can't disagree with it at all. What up, Michael? He said he took the plus 7.5. Best of luck to you. Justin says going to look more into their Sun team total under. It's 74.5, but that number is so low, man. Real quick, let's just see in their road games how many times. We know the Liberty, you guys can see it at the bottom. Liberty been the best defensive team over the last 5 games, and they really locked teams up. I just think that eventually they'll stop playing as hard on the defensive end. And Chad talked about this. I know Chad not in the chat, but he talked about this yesterday. He said he didn't want, they've been saying they don't want to peak too early. I think that's just effort. You don't want to play too hard too early, especially when it's championship or bust for the Liberty. So if I look at the Sun on the road, they're averaging 80 points per game throughout the full season. If I look at them on the road and they are unrested, only one time they only got 58 points, and that was against the Liberty. They got smoked in that game. And it went under the total too. Went under by 13.5 points on a total that was just 60.5, and that was you know what? Never mind. Hold on, let's do this again. So it's the first time they'll be playing unrested on the road. My fault. That was last season. So on the road this season, averaging 81 points per game. If they're a road dog, they're averaging 71. They scored 74 against the Aces, 61 against the Storm, and 78 against the Lynx. Yeah, I think I'll stay away from that. Tyler says Reese blew me on a plus 900 parlay. Needed over 13.5, and she ended at 13. Had multiple open looks at the end of the game. Team just didn't use her. I mean, she blew multiple layups too. It's difficult betting against betting on injuries. Sorry to hear that, man. Let's see. Mike says he likes the under. Liberty said, Justin says team total 81.5. I saw it. It's like minus 120, I think, is what the juice was on it, Justin. I think they can get to 83, honestly. And I'm with you, that's how I feel. 81.5 is too low, especially for a team that has the offensive potential, given the circumstances of Connecticut being on the second leg of a back-to-back. And I told you guys already, so far this season, when teams are traveling and they have to travel and they're playing unrested, 8-1 to the over, games going over by about 5 points, and 27-7 to the over. So 77% going all the way back to the 2018 season. That's a nice little 34 game sample size. So it's Liberty team total over for me and nothing here. I feel like we spent too much time on that game, but it's all good. Let's go over to the next one. Fever and Lynx. Game will be played in Minnesota tonight. And you got the Lynx laying 5.5. Like I said, this number was 7 last night. Total hasn't really moved, 166-ish. We go injury report for the Indiana Fever. Timmy Bagley is expected to play. She hasn't played. She's missed the last 7 games, but I think that's going to help the defense a little more than anything. She may be on a minutes restriction, but they've looked really, really good even without her. On the opposite side for Minnesota, Courtney Williams. She left yesterday's game with a lower leg injury. I thought it looked like a non-contact injury, but she ended up coming back out to the sideline. I don't even know if she got back in because I ended up falling asleep with like a minute left in the game. But she was cooking. She was absolutely cooking. 13 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists again last night. And I'm not sure if she's going to play today. I didn't get a chance to. It could be, precautionary. I think for the Lynx at this point in the season, with them, separating themselves from the Aces yet again. And actually, if they real quick, let's just look at I just want to look at the standings real quick. If the Lynx win tonight, and they beat the Indiana Fever, They can jump Connecticut's Sun. If Connecticut loses, would you expect Connecticut to lose to the Liberty? They can jump, they can jump the Sun. It's so crazy because the Storm that lost so many games in a row. I mean, I know they won their last game, but since the All-Star break, they've lost two. And the Lynx, just continue to stack up wins. They've won every game since the Olympic break. They've won 5 in a row now. And they can move into the second place spot with a win tonight over the Indiana Fever in this game. Connecticut would drop to third and be a half a game behind, I want to say, or about a game behind in the standings in this game. So I'm not sure Courtney Williams is going to play. I guess I would kind of lean towards no, just because it is the second leg of a back-to-back. And I think they might want to be cautious with her. We've seen Coach Cheryl Reeves be very cautious with some of her star players, i.e., Nafisha Collier. So jumping back into the game after we get through the injury report, you look at this Fever team, humongous rest advantage here. And I had to go back and do some work in this one. Fever are 5 days rest. They have not played a game since whenever they play. I don't even know who they played last. They played the Storm last. It was like last Sunday, I think it was. So 5 days rest. This is their third game since the Olympic break. You look at the Minnesota Lynx, they've been balling. But it is the second leg of a back-to-back, home back-to-back, so no travel. Third game in 4 nights, flying in from Vegas the other day. And it's their 5th game since the Olympic break. So that automatically tells you, like spot-wise, this Fever has to be Fever. Only way you can look at it is Fever. You look at the Fever, and one thing it's hard to bet against the Lynx right now. I ain't gonna lie to you guys, really, really difficult. But one thing I looked at, the Fever, since they got that rested, got that little break, they've been cooking. I think it was June the 13th is when, things started to kind of click with them. So it's been 15 games since June the 13th. In those 15 games, they're 10-5 straight up and 11-4 against the number. A large part of that has been their offense. They've only been held under their team total 3 times in the 15 games that they've played since June the 13th. And they've gone up and over their team total in 5 straight. A lot of that, of course, has to do with, the chemistry that they've been able to develop, whether that's Caitlin Clark herself, whether that's Caitlin Clark to Aaliyah Boston. We've seen really, really big games from, I think it was Lexi Hall in the last game, but also, all of their guards have been playing really, really good. The Fever also 5-2 straight up, 4-3 when they have had a rest advantage this season, and they're 2-0 straight up when they're facing an opponent that's unrested as well. Like I said, really, really difficult to fade the Lynx, but I think if there's a spot to fade them, it's probably going to be in this one right here. Outside of it being third game in 4 nights and the second leg of a back-to-back, they are 1-0 straight up when they're playing unrested this season, but that's a super small sample size. Interestingly enough, like situation spot, I looked into this, 5 days rest facing an opponent with no rest, and they are the teams that have that rest advantage are 9-6 straight up and against the spread. And if they're a dog, they're perfect 3-0 against the number. I also looked at favorites that have won back-to-back games, this being the Minnesota Lynx. Favorites that's won back-to-back games as a dog, because they were dogs, in Vegas. They came home, they were still dogs. They typically play over in those type matchups. 38, 26, and 1 to the over, which is a little less than 60% of the time. 10-3 to the over since the start of the 2022 season, which is about 77%. So that tells me Fever going to be Fever should be playing this game pretty close, and they should be able to score the basketball. It should be a letdown spot for the Lynx defense. We saw the Lynx play really, really good offense in Vegas. And then last night, they come home and play really good defense. I kind of feel like, those were statement games. And I can see a little bit of a letdown. As hard as it is to fade the Lynx right now, I can see a little bit of a letdown spot for the Lynx here. And I'll be looking towards the Fever. I'm upset that I didn't get the +7. But I'm a believer in the Fever offense. I did go into it and look at the numbers specifically. Last thing I want to share with you guys real quick. When I looked at the Fever since June 13th that I was telling you guys about, I said they were 10-5 straight up and 11-4 against the number. At home, they've been killing 7-1 straight up, 7-1 against the number at home since June the 13th, 6-2 to the over. But if you look at them on the road, just 3-4 straight up, but they are 4-3 against the number, only losing by about 2 points per game on the road. And they played some difficult opponents. They had to go to Seattle, lost that game by 12. They went to Phoenix, beat the Mercury in Phoenix, got smoked by the Aces by 19 points. I remember being on them in that game, and they looked absolutely dreadful. But they beat the Lynx. Of course, that was without Nafisha Collier right before the break, and end up losing to the Wings in that game right before the Olympic break as well. So we'll see how well they can play on the road here. But I don't know, man. It's difficult to want to fade the Fever right now. Last thing I want to mention, Indiana 6-1 to the over when they actually have the rest advantage. And the Fever have scored 81 points or more, which is what their team total is today. I think it's 80.5. They've scored 81 points or more in 7 straight games in 13 of their last 15 games. Only 2 times have they gone under their team total. I think it's a letdown spot defensively for Minnesota. I expect this game to be played with a fast pace. Christy Size should have her young ladies, wanting to get up and down the floor to really test Minnesota's defense, on the second leg of a back-to-back and a third game in 4 nights. So I like the Fever team total over, and I think I like that a little bit more than the spread, just because the spread has come down from 7 to about 5 now. So those are my thoughts there, man. Let's see what you guys are thinking before we get into a quick recap. I talked a little longer on that game as well. Justin says he got the +6, and he put the money line plus 195, both in his pocket. Okay. Christian, I'm not even gonna read that, man. No negativity on the show, man. I try not to be a negative person. Dropping down says he got the Fever at +7, a little sprinkle on the money line for him as well. Fahrenheit, what's up, my brother? Hope all is well, bro. He says top of the morning, Chris. Like, comment, share, subscribe, become a member, and buy some merch. My guy, appreciate that. User says Fever money line, interests me. Not gonna lie. Let me talk you off. It'll be tough, but I mean, as the game goes on, if they can play as well as they've been playing recently, it's going to be a really, really good game, man. I'm so excited for this one. Philly says split a unit between the Fever with the points and the money line. Okay. Justin says Lynx got a look ahead on Tuesday. Tuesday. Who they play on Tuesday? I feel like I was on top of the schedule. Let me just double check that real quick. I feel like I ain't see anything. Who they play? They play Minnesota. Got Phoenix. I don't think that's too much of a look ahead. I think more, Justin. My comeback to that would be, my rebuttal would be, if you anything, I know it's a terrible spot for the Lynx, but they are the second best home team in the WNBA. I think they're 13-3 straight up now. And I think only the Liberty got a better home record. Liberty only lost 1 game at home so far this season. 13-3 at the crib. And I think this would be more of a game that matters because they lost that last game. I remember being on Minnesota right before the Olympic break when they were playing the Fever without Nafisha Collier. And they had an 8-point lead, I think, going into the fourth quarter. And the Fever marched them down, all the way down. Gunned them, just chased them all the way down, ended up winning that game and outscoring the Lynx by, I want to say, matter of fact, let's look at it real quick. I think they outscored them by, I want to say, double digits in the fourth quarter. Yep, they outscored the Indiana Fever. The Indiana Fever outscored the Minnesota Lynx 28-14 in the fourth quarter, and I lost my bet. I had, I think I had Minnesota -5.5 or 5 or something like that. Them losing that game by 7. So I think it's a little bit of we got to remember it is a revenge spot for Minnesota, even though they are at the rest disadvantage. Line open Fever +7.5 and immediately dropped. I think Indy catching Minnesota here with the rest advantage. Okay. Mark says Fever +6.5. They're making a push for the playoffs. Yeah, I mean they don't got to push that hard, Mark. I think they locked in. The teams that's below them in the standings, I don't think none of them will catch them. I think they locked in. Let's see. So Fever are 2.5 games above the Chicago Sky, who lost again last night, and the Atlanta Dream also lost last night. So they are also 3 games behind the Indiana Fever. So I mean, I guess, but yeah, Fever are good, man. They are playing some really good basketball, and I mean, you guys can see it here in the graphic. It's been their offense. Look at their number one rated offensive team over the last 5 games, and hold on, let me make sure I got that right. They number one in net rating too. That seems a little off to me. Let me double check that real quick. 193. So this is not correct. I don't know if I just forgot to update that or what. This should say 193. So defensively, this is all I messed up on. The third net rated team over the last 5 games. Those numbers for Minnesota are right. So number one rated offensive team, defensively 9th, and then number 3 in net rating, third best team net rated last 5 games. And major rest advantage here, but I mean Minnesota is absolutely not a slouch at all. Let's see. Dirty says that the way the Lynx been doing Vegas, they're showing me clearly they're the best team in the league. Man, I don't know if they're better than Liberty, but yeah, I guess you could make an argument. Let me talk you off. Young Man Travel says, I'm so tempted to take the Fever on the money line. Seems like a decent spot given the Lynx have no rest and look ahead. Not confident though. I don't think it's a look ahead. I think I'm missing something. Maybe y'all got to drop. Let me know what y'all talking about. Fahrenheit says the Fever 4-1 versus Minnesota last 5, dating back to the last 2 seasons. Dropping Down says he likes the feature call you over 3.5 assists. Not big on props, but with Williams potentially out and Fee's big scoring game and rebounding game last night, I could see her being more of a facilitator. And I would agree that this makes a lot of sense to me. If Courtney Williams is going to be out, Fee went over the 3.5 last night against the Aces defense that's much better than this Indiana Fever's defense. I think she had 5 or 6 assists last night. And if Courtney Williams not going to be there, who else going to come in and be the facilitator? They also traded Udoka to Washington, so no backup, point guard from that perspective either. They got Natisha Heidemann, who I guess will probably play a little bit more minutes. But yeah, I like this a lot. Dropping Down, that makes a lot of sense to me. Michael says, and this is where I'm at with it, Michael. He says he took Fever team total over, and that's what I'm looking at as well. Kelsey Mitchell for Fahrenheit, 18 plus, minus 18 on FanDuel. Says he had 28, 21, 28, 27 in 4 of the last 5, 24, 24, and 21 in the last 3 versus the Minnesota Lynx, I think is what he means. PZ likes Lynx first half minus the 3. Think they do come out and play hard early. So to that point, real quick, and I know I'm going through the show. I'm just going through your comments and just making sure we're locked in. We only got 2 games anyway. If we look at, and I'm on Moneyballer.com now. If we look at the numbers in the last, let's just look at them for the full season. So we look at the full season. First half numbers. Lynx are 3-8-1 against the number as a home favorite. The Fever as a road dog in the first half are 3-8 as well. So they, for some reason, they do feel like they play better basketball in the second half. That's what I wanted to kind of look at. Let's just look at the last 10 games. Fever as a road dog, 1-3 against the number. Lynx 1-4 against the number as a home favorite. So not a lot really sticking out to me there. Okay, I just wanted to double check that real quick. All right. Aaliyah Boston, 10 rebounds, minus 132, Fahrenheit says, 13, 12, and 16 rebounds in her last 3 versus Minnesota. Minnesota allows the 4th most rebounds in the W. Okay. Mark says he thinks the Lynx win by about 2 to 3 points. He says Fever should cover. I agree. DJ Prop says I like the Lynx to win, even with the back-to-back, since they are still at home. I just can't trust the points, so I'll try to catch the money line live. And I really want to take the Fever, but I kind of agree with you, Prop. Like it's difficult, man. I don't really want to fade Minnesota right now. I don't want to fade either one of these teams, if I'm being honest. So I think Fever team total over is my favorite look. No Diggity says, has Caitlin been hooping as advertised since the Olympic break? I'm just turning back in. Absolutely. And the other thing is they've only played 2 games, and the Minnesota Lynx have not only have they played 4 games, but this will be their 3rd game in 4 nights. where the Fever have played. They've been at the crib chilling. 5 days of rest, major rest advantage here for them. I'm glad you mentioned this, Greg. Shout out to Greg in the chat. I did see this. Maya Moore retirement jersey ceremony is tonight as well. Her number will go in the Raptors. I saw this earlier this week. This could definitely be a game that the Lynx going to try to win. Not that the Fever are not going to try to win, but they scheduled it, against a good Fever team. They probably did this in advance, but scheduled is really, you want to win these type of games, and that, I don't know. They should win, but I don't know if they cover. But appreciate you for shouting that out, Greg. Richie says Fever and Lynx will be a good game. Think Indy will get this one. Aaliyah Boston could have a big game. She absolutely could. Mark says good luck on the team total. I'm looking for best number 80. I got it right here. All right, let's go real quick. That team total is, and this is what I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play it and just stop pump faking. So if you guys have access to Bet Rivers, there's an 80.5 out there, but it is 22 cent a juice laid on that. 81.5 is widely available, and 81.5 is minus 110. I see on ESPN Bet. Bet 365 got 80.5 at minus 125 as well. 81.5 or 80.5, just depending on where you're shopping. I think that the Indiana Fever offense is going to keep going, though. I don't know what they're going to do defensively because they are 9th rated defense over the last 5 games. But offensively, I think that they will be able to score the basketball, and I think that they're going to try to play with pace. If you're Christy Sykes, why are you not telling your team that this team has played, last night in a very, very hard fought game, and it's their 3rd game in 4 nights with travel? I'm only looking towards Fever to go up and over their team total. Let's see what else we got before we get up off here. Chicago Bulls fans say took the Liberty -7 last night. Young man Travis is not really a look ahead for Minnesota. My bad, got mixed up with them. Yeah, okay, nice, cool. I just thought I was missing something. It's all good. Lynx whooped the Aces last night. Don't want to fade them. Right there with you. Glow says took alternate under on the Lynx game. Messing up my winning ticket. I'm not sure what you mean, nigga. I don't know what you took under. Marquise says Kayla McBride points over tonight, maybe. Gotta be her turn to deal tonight. Let's see. So when I think about Kayla McBuckets, I'm instantly thinking about her shooting threes. And I just want to see real quick before we jump off here, get into a quick recap, how the Indiana Fever defense has been from the 3-point line. Oh, wow. They've been terrible from the 3-point line. Minnesota is the best 3-point shooting team over the last 5 games. They're shooting 43% from the 3-point line, above the break 3 specifically, shooting the most, making the most at 9.2, and attempting the fifth most at 21.6. So yeah, that I could see that. If you look at the Indiana Fever defense, specifically on paper, of course, they are 3rd worst opponent above the break 3 field goal percentage, allowing teams to shoot 36%. They're allowing the most makes at 6.4 per game, and the 2nd most attempts at 17.6 per game. That makes a ton of sense to me. It definitely could be a big Kayla McBuckets game, and I think she didn't shoot the ball as well last night either. I feel like she really, really struggled. Real quick, let me just double check. Kayla McBuckets had. Yeah, she was 3 for 8. She had 3 threes, 3 for 5, but she only had 12 points. Such a balanced team, though, man. It could be Bridget Carlton. It could be Elena Smith, who also went down with an injury last night, but she played through it. Zanasili off the bench. She didn't play well yesterday. Misha Hines Allen is there now. And Natasha Heidemann hit 3 threes off the bench last night, too. Okay. Let's see. Richie says, is it me or is the most unpredictable, or is it the most unpredictable to pick player props lines between Jackie Young or Kelsey Plum? Never know which. No, that's a fact. That it ain't just you. I don't play either one of them because you never know. They both gonna have ample opportunity out there to try to help Asia Wilson. They both been looking like it's not looking great, man. Not looking great at all. Kelsey Plum goes 4 for 10 last night, only has 11 points, 2 for 5 from the 3-point line. Jackie Young, 3 for 11 last night. She has 12 points. Asia literally out there carrying the team by herself. 24 points last night, and she struggled from the field, only 8 for 17, which is not bad, but it's not Asia Wilson type. And she only had 7 rebounds. Yeah, and B Philly says he likes Caitlin Clark over her points, rebounds, and assists, or Aaliyah Boston double-double. The Aaliyah Boston double-double makes a lot of sense. I think she finished with 9 rebounds in the last game because I was eyeing it. I think it was plus 120 when I was looking at it last game, but I ended up not pulling the trigger. All right, let's get into a quick recap, man. I got a chance. I wanted to go through the comments with you guys today. We've been on this show for a long time, just talking about these 2 games, but I like the interaction with the chat, man. I really, really do appreciate everybody pulling up. These are the ways I'm looking at the game. I'm looking at New York team total over the 82.5, just because, like I said, if they want to, have a letdown spot, in my opinion, I do think it'll be on the defensive end. They might not play as hard, but also Connecticut offense is just so bad. So I think 83 is obtainable for the New York offense, especially with Sabrina coming back. And the Indiana, I talked about the Indiana team total, at great lengths, but I do think that they'll be able to score the basketball against a Minnesota team on the second leg of a back-to-back that played a really, really inspiring defensive game last night. The Aces shot just 45% from the floor, 37% from the three-point line, and only got the 74 points. So Indiana should be able to score today. I like their team total a little bit more. But if I had to play spreads, I would lay with New York, and I'm not sure what I would do with Indiana. I think I would want to get the best of the number at the +7, but I do kind of feel like they can hang with the Lynx just because of the spot. Lynx playing some very inspiring basketball right now. But these are the ways that I'm looking. Haven't locked either one of them in, which is why they are red. But I like the Indiana team total and the New York team total a little bit more than anything else today. I didn't really look into player props, man. Appreciate you guys for tapping in as always. I see the love, appreciate it, and I'm sending it right back to y'all. My guy Justin, Sheed in the comment section. Appreciate y'all, man. As always. Resources, just really quickly, are here. Moneyballer.com. Definitely check them out. I talked about the promo code to sign up if you guys are interested. And I'm definitely gonna shout out OzJam one more time. I got it pulled up right beside me, as I always do to give you guys these numbers. So definitely check them out if you guys haven't already. You'll make a lot of money just honestly by getting the best of the number, and the best that you're making. And that's it. If you guys enjoyed the show, do me a favor, man. Hit the thumbs up button. Share the show. If you guys are new, subscribe to the channel. And the link for all my official plays is in the description, as it always is. Hopefully we can finish out the WNBA season strong. Best of luck on all your action for today, man. Enjoy the games. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.